Hey guys, welcome back. It's Nathan here from Verde BBQ, and I'm going to cook up some skirt steak. This is, once again, another quick, easy, fast cook. With a piece of meat that is this lean, you've really got to be really quick and fast on the barbecue. So any hard fat that is not going to render down, any silver skin that's on it, just remove it. Get your knife in below it and just remove it. Once you trim the meat back, get your favourite oil. You've got to oil the meat down on both sides. It stops it from sticking to the grill and obviously adds a fair bit of char and allows all the rub and everything to bind and hold onto the meat. Once you've done that, we need to get some seasoning on this meat. I've got a pre-made rub, but basically it's salt, pepper and a little bit of garlic. I'm going to do both sides. Fairly heavy coverage on it, so be generous and make sure you give it a good coat. You can add other seasonings if you want. I want to keep it very basic but fairly strong with the salt and pepper and the garlic because of what I'm going to add to the top of the meat when I'm finished. When you're coating it, make sure it's on both sides of the meat, not just one side. We want to get the full flavour. Once it is coated, I'm going to let it sit and rest. I really want this to bind as far into this meat as I can because this is going to be the base flavouring of the steak. With this, I'm going to put it back in the fridge, let it sit in there a good 30 minutes. I'm going to go for about 45 to 50 minutes to really draw out some of that moisture and draw some of the salts into the meat. Now that's the meat prepared. Now I'm going to start with the topping. It's a salsa verde. Get some ripe tomatoes. I say 3-4 tomatoes for this size meal. Dice them up into little cubes. Once you've done that, whack them into a bowl to the side. The next ingredient is some fresh garlic cloves. So remove the skin. You want to dice this up quite finely because you don't want a big chunk of garlic, but you want the flavour to give you a little bit of hit as well. So finally dice them up. I've gone with 2 cloves of garlic, decent sized garlic. Whack it into that same bowl that you've done with the tomatoes. The ingredient next off the list is a shallot. I'm only going to use half of a decent sized shallot. Take the skin off, of course, and the outer layer. Dice them up as well into little cubes and throw that into the bowl. Next ingredient, everybody's favourite, is good old cilantro, otherwise known as coriander. Now I like to use the root and all. Make sure you clean the roots off because there's normally a bit of sand and grit, and that's the same as inside where the bottom of the leaves join. A lot of the time it's grown in sand, so you get grit in there. Nobody wants a piece of grit when they're chewing their foods. So dice it up quite small. Use a little bit of leaf, but push the rest of the leaf off to the side as a garnish that you're going to use later. Finally dice it up and whack that into the bowl as well. The next ingredient is a good quality red wine vinegar. I'm using the Italian red wine vinegar. Use whatever you really like and whatever you enjoy. Splash it in there. Once you've put that in there, the next ingredient off the list is olive oil. The olive oil I'm using is an Australian made one. You can use anything that you like. A good quality extra virgin olive oil. Of course, at least half a lime. This has to be definitely done by taste. So squeeze all the juice out of half a lime. Make sure you get no seeds into your mix either, because that's not going to be nice for anybody to eat. Squeeze away, then stir it up, and the next the ingredients after that will be salt and pepper. The salt and pepper is done by taste. If you like it a little bit salty, my words are, just put a little bit more in there. You do want to be a little bit heavy on the salt with this. It combines well with the lime. And the only other ingredient, which you won't see me add, because I haven't put it into this time, would be chili. If you want a bit of heat, dice up a good Thai chili, leave the seeds in. More heat, obviously go a stronger chili. Make sure you give it a taste at this point. You definitely want to taste the salt, the lime, and the little bit of a kick from the red wine vinegar is what you're after. I've taken the meat out of the fridge, letting it warm up to room temperature. I've also started the pit going already. The pit's been going for about at least 30-40 minutes. I've got a good heat into it. I've elevated the charcoals a little bit higher up in the bottom of the pit to get it close to the grill. Sorry that you can't hear the sizzle, but laying this down, the meat is actually sizzling straight away. It's only going to be a really quick cook on both sides of the meat. So laying them down, going to close the lid straight back up and let them cook away. If I was going to have a rough punt, I would say the grill's sitting about 275 Celsius, about 550 Fahrenheit. I've cooked it for about 6 minutes aside, and I'm taking them off the grill right now to get them inside and slice them up. They should be cooked around about medium to medium rare, so I want it to be soft because there wasn't a lot of connective tissue or fats inside this meat, so you do not want to cook them too long. The next thing is to make sure you rest the meat. It's going to need between 3 and 5 minutes as a bare minimum to rest. Allow the temperature to even back out and all the moisture to settle inside the steak. Once you've let it rest, it's time to cut it up. Make sure you cut it across the grain. It'll make it easier for you to chew because obviously the meat will be falling apart. If you're not going to add a salsa verde or a sauce or something to this, the meat is going to need some form of seasoning on the inside of it. So when you cut it, sprinkle a bit of salt onto it as a minimum. It'll add twice the flavour to the piece of meat when you go to eat it. But since I'm adding the salsa verde, I do not need any extra salt. So I'm just going to cut it up and then put the salsa verde over the top. The sharks are circling. They all want some. They're getting hungry. Okay, I'll give you a little piece before I put the sauce onto it. Get one for you. Get one for you. What do you think, kids?
Good.
That's enough for you and I'll have the rest?
No, I'll eat it for you.
Nah. So this is the end result. Nice soft tender meat with a good charring on the outside. Salsa verde give you a bit of a kick and a tang. Absolutely delicious. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe our videos. And from all of us here at Beauview BBQ, thank you for watching.